Hello everybody and welcome back to another speed build on the RoundSquare channel, and today I've been wanting to build this particular house for a little while. Basically, back in June I went on holiday to Nice in France, and we stayed at this really nice sort of like an apartment complex, and really enjoyed it there, but the place was kind of, let's say, a bit Spartan. It was a bit empty, I'll say that much. But all the time I was there, I couldn't help but visualize what I would want to do with the space myself, because it was a very interesting layout for an apartment building. I don't know, hopefully that will actually translate quite well, but while I was there I couldn't help but think, yeah, as soon as I get home I want to build this, and I want to see what I can do to make it better. So the interesting thing, probably the most notable feature about this apartment, was that it had this balcony that was enclosed on both sides, and it was kind of placed into the side of the building, as you can see, rather than on any of the ends, which I thought was quite interesting from an architectural perspective. But it was very odd because the building itself was made up of a new part, which was the block which we were staying in, and it adjoined via a bridge on the first floor, which that's what we're building now, and it adjoined into a much older sort of, I don't know, a very typical sort of like palatial French Regency style building, which is very, very strange. So it seemed to be like a bit of a mishmash. I'm pretty sure it was all owned by the same people who ran the hotel, but because there were people coming in and out, so I don't know. Anyway, so you'll see at the moment there's that tiny little 2-block wide building on the right hand side. That is going to be the older part of the building, but later on I'm going to actually expand it because it really doesn't translate very well when it's only 2 squares wide. But yeah, so yeah, it was just a nice little self-contained apartment. It had all the like amenities that we needed, a little kitchenette, which I really struggled with putting into The Sims because it had a mini fridge built into the cabinet on the lower level, and you don't get mini fridges in The Sims 4, or at least not in any of the expansions that I own, so I wasn't able to fully make a kitchen which works. Something which fully operates. But basically what we're going to do in this build is it's going to be made up of 2 parts. The first half, which is what we're doing now, is going to be building it to how it was when we stayed there, and then I'm going to be sort of doing like a little extra bit on the end of it where I kind of renovate it a bit and make it how I think it could be improved, or what would look a little bit better. But yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice. Probably the best feature about this place was that it had some insane air conditioning. And to be honest, this was actually back in June, but it was the very first heat wave of the summer, and me and my partner, we were out there, and just going outside was like walking into an oven, and we were just dripping with sweat. And we thought to ourselves, like, oh, it's, you know, we're both nearly 30, you know, we're getting on in years, we can't really deal with the heat anymore. But yeah, then we actually heard the news reports and saw that it was like the hottest day ever recorded in France, so that was a little bit interesting, but still it made for a really enjoyable experience. You know, we got that summer vibe that we wanted. But oh yeah, the bathroom itself was really strange because rather than having a full shower, it was more like a wet room, so the shower was actually part of the room itself, and there was no curtain or anything. But what this meant is that anytime you turned on the shower, the room would flood, and I mean like properly flood, and it would like pour out into the hallway. And so to kind of combat this, the bathroom was provided with a like a giant squeegee, which we would use to like brush all the excess water down towards the drain. But what's nice is that it was literally so hot that it dried off in like 10 minutes anyway, so it wasn't really too big of a deal. But if you went when it wasn't a heat wave, I can imagine it was probably kind of annoying. But yeah, it was really nice all round. So the way that you actually got into the complex, there was a sort of like a little gated off part at the very bottom bit underneath that little pedestrian bridge, and we had to actually phone the hotel's owner and try to speak to him in French to let us in, because there was no buzzer or anything. And then he met us and we went into that room on the bottom left of the complex on the ground floor, and that's where he got the key for us, so I guess that was the office for the person who owned the building. But yeah, it was really nice though. It took him about 15 minutes to get there, but he was super nice about it, and we didn't have anywhere to be, so we were just grateful to get inside and get the air conditioning on, because it was really, really, really hot, and it really, really was difficult. I mean, I don't deal well with heat at the best of times, but yeah, this was something else. And one thing I've always struggled with in The Sims 4 particularly is that when it comes to the architectural decor, there aren't really many ornaments which match sort of more historical architectural styles, or at least not compared to older games like The Sims 2, for example, and that kind of made this a little bit difficult. I didn't really appreciate that, because there were so many cool details which I couldn't physically put onto the building, but I tried to add some little decor, but it just really doesn't work. So the historical building itself on the right hand side just looks a little bit plain, but it was really nice regardless. I just wish that I could have sort of captured it a little bit better, but yeah. Now, one thing that's going on at the time that we are recording this is they have just announced that there are going to be split level stairs, an update for split level stairs in the game, and that's freaking awesome, because, well, the stairs sort of went up on 3 separate levels, but I couldn't make it in this, but it's been too long that I've been trying to build this, so I couldn't be bothered to wait for the update, so I just kind of made my own thing. But yeah, anyway, we are going to have a little look-see and see what the finished result looks like, and this is how it appeared when we stayed there. Okay, so that is how it was when we actually stayed there, but now we're going to have to go at making it look a little bit more like what I think would have improved it a bit better. I didn't really want to make too many structural changes to the property, but I found what I had to do was there were a couple of bits that I did have to edit in order to make it an actual playable lot. So I've had to expand the kitchen so that we could get a fridge in now. and it meant that I've had to like change a door, change a window, etc. But in terms of the actual like structure of the property, that I think that's as far as I wanted to take it. I mean, the kitchen itself when we stayed there was really nice, but it was very, very small. It had everything we needed, but you couldn't really do more than one thing at a time there, which is fair enough. I'm assuming they were built for like holiday homes or something like that, but I think just having a little bit more space would have been a bit more beneficial, let's say. And there were awkward placings for some of the furniture in there to try and make things fit in. And the one thing which really did annoy me is that the only bin that was in the whole property was like a tiny little waste paper basket in the bathroom. There was no kitchen bin. Like, that to me is... I can't get my head around that. Like, that's so weird to me. But... yeah, so that was definitely something which had to go in first of all. But there was just a lot of wasted space in this place. I mean, it was really nice, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of space, probably due to the layout of the room itself. It was just empty. So the space between the living area and the bedroom was just this long, dark corridor, but it's just like... we didn't have anywhere that we could have, like, sat down to do any writing or anything like that. I mean, you had, like... the dining table, but that had most of the bits from the kitchen in there because there wasn't much in the way of storage. But yeah, I definitely wanted to incorporate that squeegee though, so that's why I've put up this like little broom. It's like paying homage to the bathroom, the wet room. But yeah, so most of my like renovation was just kind of making things a little bit more sort of comfy. Like the bed itself was really plain, and I mean, it was all IKEA furniture, which I've got no issue with, but it's just that there was not much of it, and there were no bedside tables. What kind of hotel doesn't have bedside tables? I'm sorry, like, that really threw me, so that was definitely a must. Like, that's just something which was going through my head. Like, I wear glasses, so when I go to bed, I take my glasses off. When I wanted to charge my phone, I had to put it on the floor, and it's just weird, There was just not much in the room, which is fair enough. We didn't really spend much time in there, but we had to keep sort of coming back because the heat wave was too strong, and we were just like, dude, we have to get in somewhere where it's cold just to stop cooking. And so we would usually come home, like, I would just take my clothes off straight away and have a cold shower just to like bring myself back to a normal temperature. So very grateful for that. It may have been a bit Spartan, may have been a bit sparse, but yeah, at least there was that delicious air conditioning. But yeah, I figured with this nice little corridor area, it was wide enough to do something with, but I found it interesting that they didn't want to do anything with it, so I made sort of like this little dressing room come workspace area, so that if you had any writing to do, or if you were going to do your makeup or your hair, you had somewhere to sit down and do it. And yeah, but as I say, I didn't want to like edit too much of the actual structure, so this is all like purely decorative. I just wanted to make this feel a little bit more homey, a little bit more like hotel, and of course another bin, because why would you only have one bin for an apartment? Like a tiny bin, probably like, I want to say maybe 25 centimeters high, if that. I mean, it couldn't, if you were to put a normal like shopping bag in there, it would have already been like overflowing. It was too small to contain it, but hey ho, that's just me complaining. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to make it look a little bit more decorated, a little bit more comfortable. I've tried to keep it so that it still seems hotel-y, or like an Airbnb, so I don't want it to have like too much crazy personality, but we just wanted to make it look a little bit nicer, so we sort of did our own little take on it and just replaced some of the furniture there with some nicer bits. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up now. It's coming to a close, so thank you everybody so much for checking this out, and please, if you do get the opportunity, I would highly recommend visiting Nice. It was honestly the best holiday I've ever had. So thank you everybody so much for checking this out, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.